Okay, so without further ado, because that was quite a lot of ado, I would like to announce that Julia Gordon-Bramer is our first reader tonight. Julia and I actually, a couple of years ago at Lohmeyer Sculpture Garden and Gallery and a park, got to be the male and female half of a Valentine's Day reading that was called Lohmeyer, and we had a great deal of fun with that. They had a whole show on around sort of Valentine's Day events, and Julia and I dug out both our lovely love poems and our naughty poems, and had some fun with that. Julia is a professional tarot card reader, which allows me to make lots of jokes with her on Facebook, and a writer, and also a scholar of Sylvia Plath, and she's actually pulled those two things together with a book called Fixed Stars Govern a Life, Decoding Sylvia Plath, the relationship between the tarot and the stars and the extraordinary poet Sylvia Plath. That will be out this year. I think she's dying of impatience for it to come out, from the Stephen Austin State University Press, and can be ordered on Amazon.com now. Hint, hint. In 2013, the Riverfront Times called Julia St. Louis's best local poet, awarded her that accolade, and we continue to think of her that way here at Chance Operations. Julia, come on up.
Thank you. And I have 3 bookmarks for the book that has been printed, is sitting in the warehouse. They're just waiting to like flip the switch and get it out. So any minute now. So as Chris said, I am a tarot card reader, and that means I'm on a quest for enlightenment. However, this poem was written in less enlightened circumstances. It's called Anthony Bourdain, I Hate You. Anthony Bourdain, I hate you. You and your layovers, the 60-minute getaways to the farthest limits of somewhere with no reservations, surrounded by all the hippest people I will never meet. Dude, your steely curls are bringing me down. Must just right. You are head and shoulders higher than everyone, donning shiny suits or casually rumpled in Ralph Lauren. Oh, Anthony, arbiter of taste, I hate your punk rock background, your discovery budget, your street cred, your throaty cleverness, the savage similes off your tongue. I hate your boys' club as you bite underbelly bits and parts unknown of poor skewered beasts. You, flesh-eater, bone-slurper, booze-sucking snob, with your glory stories of hangovers, fueled by foolish foreign women, smiling from back in the kitchen, stirring mixing bowls close against their ample hearts. Anthony Bourdain, I hate your cigarette smoke as it jets off and away like curls of skywriting from your pouty lips. You are not pretty, yet the world is your mirror, flattering as you simulate your spicy jerk chicken adventures. Oh, Satan of gravy, grease, and cheese curd, sipping scummy broth, an oily smile hides those white shark teeth. God damn it, Bourdain, why do you fascinate me? I am as guilty of watching as the rest, and yet I have been on the other side of reality TV. I see the cameraman coaching its suave illusion toward the next visual lie. I see the retakes with more oomph, the pretend sleep and pseudo-conversations, the false temporary friends. Let's get confidential, Anthony Bourdain. If I confess I love your life, does this mean I must love you? Will you tell me who you really are, and am I cool enough to come along too? Okay, thank you. This I'm reading by request. Some of you know that we were scheduled to do this reading, at least Bob Nazarene and I were scheduled to do this reading in November when the night of the Ferguson stuff. So this poem actually I wrote in August when the first event happened. It's called Storm Over Ferguson. No one knows what is true anymore, or what color the news likes to be. Now black and white is less than clear, and rarely red all over. And another man is dead today. He asked for it, we are told, some crazy fool knifing his way toward being the next face on t-shirts and signs. No one knows what is true anymore, or with whom the National Guard sides. The highway patrol polices police, while tears, tear gas, and bullets fly over people who feed on stamps and the streaming internet's hate acceleration. They call to agitators, anarchists, and haters doing the Molotov dances as they pretend to have a reason tonight. The tired sky turned into agate, separate and cut away, layers of color in a coherent smear. It is something to hope for. Meanwhile, the front moves in, billowing smoke black and cumulus clouds growl. Another storm approaches, vibrating with lightning, and I do not doubt someone will be losing power, blown in from hot air and sheets of rain. No one knows what is true anymore, because no one is allowed outside at night. Schools are closed, and businesses are boarded if they weren't burned. The prayer vigils hang faith on one once strung up by rioters, in case he might understand that this mess has nothing to do with color, but rather the content of every man. So, Tom and I went to Hawaii last summer, which had a bunch of poems out of it. That was just an experience of a lifetime. And our first few days were on Oahu, and we did the obligatory tour of Pearl Harbor. And you know, you cannot go to Pearl Harbor and not be moved. And I, you know, the poem started cooking almost as soon as I set foot in the place. What I think I pulled out of this was just how much wars are just another form of human relationships. It's all a love affair gone wrong. So this is called Pearl Harbor. Behind us, clouds over volcanoes look painted on the sky. There is no transparency, and the images from history loom into and around this bent memorial, meant to fix the unfixable. It is a strange beauty seeping up to the surface in rainbows of oily colors seeking the light. Decades gone and buried are alive in this night, undersea, stirring hurt in the world, killing fishes. This is a place of heat and pain like Eden, hell and paradise. We have been bombed and blown out of our brains. The natives hold that after hard rains, a toothy shark had warned off a wiser, elder pearl diver. She had been told that truth about the future, that terrible beauty lies with head buried in sand and in beatings of salt water against two cheeks of hard shell, gritted in, irritation to build and rise to one day be scorched pure by black smoke and flaxen sun, in clear, blue airy eyes of here. To overlook Jupiter's November storm, its red Japanese circle eye, they decided on December instead, and we keep trying to remember it wrong. A persistent, blaring bullhorn repeated, "This is not a drill." Some of us could not believe. Some are content with no ending to the story, to pretend that the silent ones somehow got away. Back then, those people weren't us. We are friends today. We were not the ones who waved like flags from a fiery seabed, screams and leaking, pouring gush of blood in a 2-hour fight toward the hush of death that morning. In you, I loved 2,400 men. Our flesh-fire bodies melted, losing the unison. Flak perforates every feeling, and I am filled with emptiness enough to contain countries. I said, I can't do this anymore. You said, I know. And then another sort of relationship gone wrong poem. This is called Ex-Husband. We never had the same dreams. I used to draw mine in a picture and put you out in the margin of the yard. When you played the radio, I sang different songs in my head. When you told me what to do, I nodded and thought otherwise. I was never big on behaving, and your 4 windowless walls didn't feel like security to me, all corners and evading thunderous bellows, or else escaping a droning monotony. I let you clear the air and extinguish my fiery star to be a tiny canary in your cage, a paper doll in a burning house. I took your name and forced your face. It never fit. Smoke rising and rain falling look the same from a distance, but gravity and levity are incompatible, like us. Sitting at the table for dinner, both wondering what to eat and who might make it. The wheels in my throat and the gears in my head wouldn't go, rusted and unturning. For years I was as effective as a dead doe on the side of the road. Every day a little death, understanding the stained brain of my past and a truth of a smothering memory mistake we both made, calling it love. This next poem is about my work on Sylvia Plath. Those of you who know me know I'm a little obsessed. It's called Seeing Sylvia Plath. The pictures appear to be mostly black and white, or else false enthusiastic color of those early 60s, and so I try imagining her real, here, in flesh, 5 years older than my mother. Or maybe me as her, or us as she, the we of teenaged journaling daughters, journeying to a moon-dark side of self. Perhaps she's reversed my mirror image, become the friend I lost at ambition's decade gate called 30. Nevertheless, this silvery likeness dreamed is never quite right. Vision hinges on familiar and breaks with history's short memory. I'm told natives had never seen a ship, to know pilgrims were more than whales. We are blinded, believing what is real, decided upon before it is seen. Anyway, the eyes of this old seer are clouded when close, yet sighted so far, disbelieving depth perceptions as well as tricks of light. So where and how might she appear? I hear what matters and will not forget the cloaked vowels of her voice, electric, soaked pronunciation of her perfect words, this enunciation of consonants blessed in her syllables, rising and climbing iambs, feet fleeing meters of heavy earth to ears and eyes, past death's shaded breath, caught in the throat. This is the last sad. A very dear friend of mine lost her son, 24 years old, to heroin just a couple months ago. This is called The Next Room. It's about that. A part of me has lost a part of herself. Never forgotten, never forgettable, she is 8 or 9 or 1,000 miles away, wailing for a son I know but never met. A beautiful blonde sunny day who took her heart and maybe too much heroin and went into the next room. I have seen too much not to believe, after all. When a new mother hears her baby cry, her milk lets down, and how many times have I known the caller before my phone even rings. How easy the connection, how gently love kills us, and still, this is always better than never. I know only that we inhabit each other's dreams, and that room is full of still beating hearts. And I wrote this in fun, and what do you know? It sort of worked. And a post-Christmas poem, I guess you could call it. The Ghost of Christmas Present. Christmas morning, I made pancakes, whole grain, and so never the kind people crave. Not flaky white flour, clouds of starch and butter catchers, nor with impressive faces of eggs and bacon strip mouths smiling across a whole size of plate. No, these were dark and a little bit gritty. Plus, I'd scorched a few ladles of batter on too high heat. And to make matters worse, I had forgotten to survey my syrup scene, which was nil, and so, after the last sad flapjack took shape, I packed them in Tupperware for later, which was today. My morning backyard deck was glazed with crackling ice and nature's brittle sugars, and I made my way across in slippers, taking careful steps over to the rail. It was there where I sailed each cold cake into frosty air, one by one, becoming a lone little frisbee feast for birds. Winter's sun fought its way through December's newspaper gray. That unsweetened treacle heaven held back its passion, yet a beam warmed my cheek like an oven's kiss. I don't care if it's a waste. My family ate eggs on Christmas Day. We owe it to the birds. This meal is my present griddled for feathers and songs which, despite the frigid weather, seem to stick around. As I throw out these mealy discs to the wind, I think about winter and that it is just too bad that now I am Dickensian, hungry, cold, and such a ghastly cook.